And welcome back to another episode of All Clear. This time it is COTA edition, and man, just a bunch of really cool things to talk about. But you know, as I always say, I can't do it all by myself, and I am so honored to have a very special guest with us this week to go over everything COTA, maybe even some Loko stories. Who knows? We'll dive into it, everything. Ladies and gentlemen, Ryan Ellis, driver of the number 71 for DGM Racing, is here with us today. Ryan, how you doing, man? Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Man, I am tired. Isn't that what Brad said? Those first up couple lines. No, I am actually tired. I just looked. I'm like, I got bags under my eyes right now. Yeah, really excited to be on the show and talk with you.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and Ryan, like you just mentioned, tired. That's the main word that you mentioned right there. Brad mentioned it too last week. You know, we're gonna dive into COTA, right? But for the people back home who may not know too much about you, you have had, to me, a really fun career journey to watch, right? The first memory I have of you, man, okay, and I was saving this one. NASCAR Heat Evolution. That is the first memory I have of
That's
you.
sad.
not
That's really
not
sad.
not in a bad way, like not in a
No,
bad
just because
way.
that game was so bad. Yeah.
Oh, dude. Oh, we can go on about that. Okay, yeah. Yeah. First memory, NASCAR Heat Evolution. I think you were in the '93. I think you were in the
Yep.
'93 car. And I remember booting up that game, and I was doing like YouTube streaming at the time. I was trying to get my name out there a little bit, and I was going through this roster. I'm like, "Who's Ryan Ellis? Who is this?" Because like
We're still asking. Yeah.
yeah, no. It's getting better. Don't say that. But yeah, that game, dude. I guess you're a NASCAR gamer like me. That was something. Th-
Yeah, I've dreamt my whole life about like being in a video game. I wasn't like
mhm.
a trading card guy, so then when that came out, I was so depressed when how bad that game played. I think I played it for 5 minutes and I was like, this is unplayable. I can't do this. But
I
speaking of first memories, I was part of the Go Fast Racing like esports team because there's really three of us. So I remember
mhm.
like you were our top pick in our
Really,
database. Yeah, like you were like, oh my God. Like I think we were second or third pick. We're like, there's no way we're gonna get Joey Stone. And yeah, it's funny just because I knew you from that. I probably knew you before you knew me. We're about the same time at least.
really. Well, I didn't know that, man. I had no idea that you were part of that whole experience. You know, we could definitely talk about that. It's pro league, man. I mean, back then it was that was my thing, bro. That's the thing that I worked my ass off for to get to.
Yeah.
And I remember going into that, man. I was a nervous wreck that morning for the draft. I was so nervous. I thought I killed everything, thought I did a great job with everything. And I would have just been fortunate enough just to get my name picked. It didn't matter where I went. I just wanted to get
Yeah.
picked and experience that. And you know, I saw Slade go to Wood Brothers, and I saw I had my friends over, and I saw Slade get picked in person, and I thought, oh shit, I'm not getting picked. I didn't get flown out here. I'm watching this thing for no reason,
Yeah.
and then RCR goes up and calls my name. So
What were they? What pick were they? They were
the
like top three, right?
number 3, yeah,
Okay.
I
So we
went
were
after
four.
Jermaine. I went after Jermaine.
We
Um,
picked some kid who got basically banned, I think.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Oh man.
we were just like, well, if he's gone, we'll just go for the fastest kid left, I guess. And then yeah, that didn't work out
Yeah,
very well.
no. Fast Fed.
Yeah.
Hunter
Yeah.
Mullins. Oh man. Yeah, dude.
Our other kid was perfectly fine. I don't think
Yeah.
he had the same amount of speed, but
Matthew
yeah.
Heel. Matthew Heel.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's a good guy. A lot of respect for him. But yeah, Fast Fed, dude. That guy, really fast, man. I mean, he was really fast, but he couldn't keep his mouth shut.
Yeah.
And
I had to
since
deal with like all the blowback there because there was only three of us in the front office. It was the team owner, Archie,
yeah,
general manager, and then me. So like we were literally sitting at like a Ruby Tuesdays, watching all the videos and going through a database of stats. And I'm like, this is crazy that we're spending so much time on this stuff just because it was just three of us. Like I was
yeah.
travel itinerary and all that, but it was really cool and doing the draft out there. And yeah, like I said, you did a phenomenal job. I remember you being like the best and most well spoken and creative of all of them.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, dude, I people made fun of me for it too. They were like, you know, oh, all he does is putting his face on a camera. He can't drive a car. I'm over here like, you know, hey, I'm just earning my opportunity, man. I mean, that's what a NASCAR driver does, right? I mean, you got to get in the car and drive,
Literally.
but you gotta rep your sponsors. You gotta show that you're a marketable person and you can put your
My
face
whole,
in front
yeah,
of the
my whole
camera.
room is that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean the bumper and everything there, but yeah, I took a lot of pride in it, man, and it really means a lot hearing that I was one of your top picks for Go Fast Racing.
Yep. It would have been 4 if you weren't 3.
I know. Hey, good theory for everyone out there. How would I have done if I went to Go Fast Racing? That would have been a big what if story right
The
there.
butterfly effect. Yeah. You never know.
I know, right? Instead, I shoved a bunch of honey butter croissants in my mouth and drove a Caterpillar piece of equipment playing Pac-Man and everything.
I don't know what you would have done with Can-Am, which is basically all we had at that
I
time.
mean,
But
hey,
yeah,
I would have loved to have taken a four wheeler though, or something, and do
I
some
wish we
crazy.
had.
I know that would have been
We
that would
did a
have been.
lot with them, and it was so much fun.
Yeah, no, you guys were at the track all the time with them. They were outside with the four wheelers and all that stuff, dude. I probably would have hurt myself if we did something with that, but
Same.
it,
Yeah.
it would have been some for amazing content.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, going on with games and all that, Heat Evolution, that's where I first knew about you, but little did I know that you knew about me, which is pretty nuts. But let's get away from the video games for a second because we can go on and on about that. That just kind of came up spur in the moment. But let's talk about COTA, right? And let's talk about this year, right? You're driving for DGM. You left Alpha Prime after last year. Honestly, kind of shocked me a little bit because I felt like you guys had a very good relationship there, and you were doing some great stuff. But obviously, you got to do what's best for you, right? And you made that move to DGM, and so far, it seems to be really paying off for you. You just got a 16th place finish at COTA, which I mean, on paper, anyone may just say, "Oh, 16th," but for a team like you guys, I mean, I'm sure that's something to keep your guys' heads up about because you looked like you guys had some really solid speed out there too. Tell me about your weekend at COTA and what was it like in the driver's seat?
Yeah, COTA was kind of the race that I was looking forward to most of the first 3. Not because it's a better opportunity to get like a top 10, but I felt like we got a top 10 at Daytona or Atlanta. It's Daytona or Atlanta. It's luck.
Yeah.
You kind of fell into that. So wanted to show good speed. Sucked in qualifying. I don't know why. I think I just hate that tire to death. And in the race, found some speed. I found that like if you just drive 70% on that tire, you move forward. So that's kind of frustrating. But at the end of the day, it was just cool because I felt like I've struggled on the road courses the last 2 or 3 years. Ironically, in the car that Brad has driven. I was listening to the interview earlier and he mentioned that. And it's a little bit of an older car. So I think that might have held him back last weekend. Same with
Mm,
the last couple of years there for myself. But was really, really cool to show speed, fight with guys that I felt like I haven't fought with in a couple of road course races, and good start to the year. Trying not to ever get ahead of myself. I never get too high or too low with the emotions just because it's racing, man. I could DNF 3 races in a row after this. Knock on wood, that doesn't happen. But
yeah, no, let's
this is
make sure
kind
that
of
doesn't
where my
happen. No.
yeah, this is where my season started falling apart. I felt like last year, just with bad luck, like getting assassinated at Martinsville in 11th and getting hit head on at COTA last year by the 98 who was spun around backwards on the track. So it was yeah, it's all about just riding the wave and enjoying it while you can.
You haven't gotten Chris right yet though. That's
Man, I almost did.
Oh,
Like
you
I
almost
was
did.
so
You almost
close.
did.
I was right behind Josh. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, 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 you were right there. Yeah, that
it looked like a missile. Like
no. Yeah,
I had no idea what happened. I
I
was like, "Is Josh okay? Is Josh okay?" And they're like, "Yeah, he's still on track." I'm like, "How is he on
I
track?"
I don't know because like when I watched that live, I that might have been the biggest surprising thing I've seen a car like anything happen on track.
You
Like
think you were surprised?
no, I mean you were right there. You probably
Yeah,
I mean dude, back to Go Fast, if you had dude wipes for a sponsor, you probably would have been all over it right there with that
yeah.
one right there.
I think I said something along those lines. I just was. They were just like, "Look out!" I've only heard "look out" one other time in my racing career from a spotter, and I don't
Mhm.
know. I still don't know what to do. And they don't know what to tell me. There's nothing he could have said in that point. I think I just rolled out of the gas and it just barely either grazed us
Oh
or
man.
barely missed us. But yeah, killed Josh, unfortunately.
Yeah, dude, the Twitter beef between those two has been insane too. I've been following it like as much
Me
as I
too.
possibly can. Like, I mean, hey, I can't say it's not entertainment right there, but I mean, is it going to keep going? It
I hope
might.
so. I've been
Yeah, I
egging
mean,
Josh on. I've been like, man, you should say this. You should say it.
you.
And
That's
what?
what you guys are doing at Ruby Tuesdays now, right? Now you're getting together
Yes.
and doing Twitter beef with Chris Wright and everything.
Yeah, no, I was texting Josh last night, this morning, yesterday afternoon. I was like, man, what are you gonna say? Because like SMT, I think he had tweeted before what I was thinking before. I'm like, the car it doesn't show what direction the car is facing. It just
Hmm.
shows a car traveling a certain direction. Like, I don't want to get involved because the last thing I need is for it to be a DGM Chris Wright rivalry. Right now, it's just Josh and Chris.
Just Josh and Chris, but with Ryan watching from far away. It's like
Just
that it's like
pushing
that
them in.
it's like that meme of like the three little kids like fighting on the playground or something. The guy's just like sitting there on the ground with his legs up in the air watching with a camera and all that.
Literally, yeah. Except
That's
I'm trying to make it way worse. Like I'm trying to egg Josh on just to get him going.
uh but yeah, besides the beef though, talking like still going back to the whole COTA thing. I know there was a new layout this for this week, right? And I know a lot of people were pretty skeptical about it first, but it seemed as though on TV and everything that the new layout seemed to be actually a lot more entertaining, from at least the TV side of it, but we don't ever really hear from it, especially me, from an actual driver how that layout is. You're someone who has raced on both of those configurations. What's your take on it? Did you like this configuration more than the previous one?
I'm so boring. I was just like, whatever they want us to do, let's do it. As long as we all understand the rules. I didn't know about that turn six thing till halfway through watching the cup race
Bro,
yesterday.
no one did. No one did. I
Yeah, I
mean,
wish
I
I did. Would have made a few different moves. No, it's good. I think at the end of the day, as stupid as it sounds, there's more corners because you're running more laps. You
Mhm.
don't have a long straightaway. Like there's more corners, which means more opportunity to pass, more opportunity just to race. I know long straightaways equal passing zones, but we've found that if you just give people more opportunities to pass, then they'll probably take it. To me, it raced pretty similar to Portland, which is a little bit
Oh,
of a
okay.
scrappy road course in our
Yeah.
opinion. And that's not to, I think it's probably just a confirmation bias, but that's what I said going into the weekend. I'm like, I feel like this is just going to be Portland essentially. And
Mhm.
it was fun and still had to dive people into one and still had the stupid restarts, but you didn't also probably have like, half the race not televised other than that little bleacher incident that everybody talked about. Everything was kind of front and center.
Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of fans wanted to see is more front and center, right? To me, the new configuration, it definitely seemed to make it more intense, right? The lap didn't drag out as long, right? And to me, there was more exciting corners and exciting opportunities for the fans to see what these drivers are trying to do every single corner, especially in the cup race. You saw it with Bell, Bush, Byron, and I believe Reddick. Reddick was up there too.
That was awesome. Yeah.
Oh, it was incredible. Like to me, the best example of respectful racing I have seen on a road course amongst competitors in a while, in quite a while.
100%. And you know, Bill was scared of Bush at the end of that too, after last
Oh,
year.
oh, I think
Yeah.
Christopher. I
In
think
a friendly
Christopher.
way.
No, in a friendly way for sure. Because like the last 2 years at Coda, they had a run in and everything. I think Bell had an opportunity or two to probably bump him out of the way, but
Yeah.
he did not want to. He did not want to rattle Kyle Busch because
No, not at
no,
all. Yeah.
no,
And I get it. It was awesome, like pure racing, which you just don't see on road courses anymore.
no, and you mentioned that, which is a really good point because in the Xfinity race, I think the Cup race too, especially in turn one on lap one. But in the Xfinity race, we definitely saw some aggressive racing, and in my opinion, there were some incidents that were definitely very avoidable. That you know we
I haven't even watched the race yet. So I've gone off of Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but you've read that though. You've read that there's still some driving issues out there. Being someone who's been in the sport for a while, what do you think it is right now that is making, I guess, respect amongst drivers a whole different field now than what it was even maybe 5, 6 years ago?
Um, I have a weird perspective because I essentially took like a 4-year break
Mm-hmm.
from 2016 to 2021.
Yeah.
Like I've been like three races, but I got back in. I'm like, my God, it's changed so much.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's because the truck series eventually becomes ARCA, or ARCA eventually becomes a truck series, truck eventually becomes Xfinity, just because those people are moving up, and the mentality that they learn to race there just continues to progress up. And obviously, with the Cup cars being so stiff, they're probably the most aggressive now. Um, I mean, I could be the old man that just kind of yelling at the kids, but it also, in my opinion, does have to do with the fact that a lot of them are self-funded. So they might not have the same mentality ingrained that a lot of us guys that are like in the mid pack or lower tier cars have, where we're like, don't damage the car. It might create more work for the guys, and our car's going to suck less or suck a little bit more next week. Just do what we can, get a good points day. And now we just have so many restarts. The kids are a little bit more aggressive. By a little bit more, I mean like 10 times more aggressive than
Yeah,
they ever used to be.
yeah, and you mentioned that because that's a really good point that you made. Because even 10 years ago, I mean, money is definitely a huge thing that brings drivers into the sport, right? You need money and finances and supporters to get in. It's not like Rick Hendrick or Richard Childress is going to go to your local dirt, like grassroots track and be like, I'm going to offer you a full time ride and everything. Come with me, right? That's a one in a million thing. You got to have partners that ride with you the whole time. And I would think even 10 years ago, it was there, but it wasn't as big as it is now
Yeah, the
in the
percentage
lower
of the field
series.
was less.
Yeah, no, I mean, but for me, even 10 years ago, which would have been 2015, we knew Chase Elliott, we knew Ryan Blaney, those guys were moving up, right? Last name Elliott, last name Blaney. Everyone says that, oh, these guys are only here because of their last name. But even when you saw Elliott and Blaney racing, moving up, it's not like they were running guys out of the way every single week and all that. They took care of their equipment. I think Elliott had one incident where he going for a win, he got into somebody, he apologized for
That
it.
most
Uh,
sport
I think,
was that a
yeah,
different one?
Canadian Tire. I think Canadian
Yeah,
Tire
now
would.
they just be like a normal deal.
Yeah,
They don't even
now
get the
now now
headlines.
that's normal. You just know it's going to happen. But like
Yeah,
Ryan Blaney and Chase, those guys, and amongst a few others, yeah, even Bubba, they mostly treat their field with respect in their younger years. But
yeah,
now, especially in the trucks and sometimes in Xfinity, you're seeing almost the same guys every other week have some kind of run in, and they usually come from this background
same here.
of, you know, we got lots of money and resources that it's okay to be aggressive. But do you think that there needs to be a line drawn at some point of I don't want to say requirements, because if you got the stuff to get in, hey, come on in. But do you think there's got to be some sort of thing NASCAR should do to kind of help with that, or do you think they kind of got their hands back and they're like, hey, you know what? Just learn amongst yourselves and give us some entertainment on TV.
I think the way the sport is structured financially right now, it just handcuffs the team so much that they can't do it any other way. Like
Mm,
there's a certain cap, I think, on return on investment to these sponsors that spending over that doesn't make any sense. You have to have it subsidized in some way, shape, or form for the guys in the Truck Series, Xfinity, and probably the back part of Cup. So it's hard to say. Man, I a lot of thoughts with the NASCAR licensing process because I know what it used to be. And I know Twitter, they have their thoughts. And I saw like the Catherine Legg announcement that became the
mm,
Mike Wallace, reincarnation. But I was like, man, why do we? I don't know. It just changes so much
it does. Yeah.
year to year. And I don't know what you do to get licensed. And I think somebody's only gotten their license reduced a few times. One of them was Jake Crum wrecking me at Charlotte. Um,
Oh,
yeah, so like it's
yeah.
only happened a few times, and that's actually I've said that recently. I think I said it last week, and I'm like, what do you have to do to get your license reduced now? Like it doesn't seem
Mm.
like it's possible. Like there's, but yeah, for the most part, a lot of the guys are very respectful, and the guys that have been around for a long time are all polished.
Yeah. And I mean, you're only giving me more confidence with the licensing aspect, because I feel like one day maybe I can make an ARCA start and we won't have any issues with how the licensing
You'd be
stuff.
fine, man. You could run the Xfinity series, and you wouldn't have the most drama around you. You'd be fine.
I'm for it, man. I mean, I said it is my dream. I want to make an ARCA star at Daytona. That's my dream. And I will, you know what? I'm gonna keep the car clean. I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna try to carry all my way to maybe a top 10 finish and ride off into the
You'd get a
sunset.
top five, no joke. Like a 50% chance you'd get a top five.
Bro,
Just survive.
hey, if you know a team or sponsor that's looking for a development guy, speak no more. We can. I'll make a series out of it. We can make this into a motion picture for all.
Got to ride the coattails of Cletus, right?
Yeah, I mean, hey, shout out to that guy, bro. I mean, he drove a good race in Daytona too. I mean,
Yeah, I
he.
felt bad. Yeah.
I felt so bad for him. He had like 40,000 people watching his live stream on YouTube. I mean, Crazy.
It sucks. I hope he doesn't get the personality sucked out of him. That's all I think every time I see that is it's just like that's what our sport needs.
We
I
need
think
it
there
big
are other
time.
characters, but the amount of work it takes to survive in this sport, like I feel like at 5 p.m. I have no personality, and I have to like literally try to turn a personality on. And I just hope he doesn't get that sucked out of him because he could be the reason that like our sport's kind of revitalized.
Yeah, and speaking of like revitalizing and personalities and everything, there's a guy I want to talk to you about who you may have saw and in the Xfinity race who may have won from the pole and worked his way up. Connor Zilisch, right? I don't know if you've talked to this guy in person. 18-year-old kid, supposedly the next prodigy in NASCAR. You know, that kid's insane. He is an absolute wheelman, and
Yep.
he went from the back to the front and won the race. But of course, there was a little controversy, and it kind of goes back to what we talked about before with the whole licensing and these younger drivers coming up and having respect for the field. Um, and I'll ask you this, being someone who's been in the sport for a while who has seen these younger guys. Connor admitted that he did not drive a good race. And he even said after his interview that, he got into a teammate or so and he caused an incident and he felt bad. Um, you know, with Connor being 18 and everything, and I guess I'll ask you this question. If you were to give Connor any advice, right?
I have the
Just
best. It's so good.
okay,
Yeah,
okay,
perfect.
okay. So you have some
Yeah,
advice from Connor. So Connor, if you somehow do watch this podcast, and
he won't.
also
Yeah,
he
I'm just
won't.
kidding. Yeah, I'm
He
just kidding.
he may not, but if he does, Connor, would love to have you on. Ryan Ellis has some great advice for you. Ryan, what's your advice for Connor Zilisch?
So it's just funny because I don't know many of the guys that are on the other side of the garage.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow, unfortunately for him, we got stuck in the same intro truck last year at Phoenix for that championship race. And I'm
Yeah.
just old and I don't like I just say all the dumb things that everybody might think, or maybe it's just my brain.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, what's it like to be you? Because like I only know my life. And your life to me seems like a simulation. Like it doesn't seem real, like the people you deal with, the car number you're driving, just the path you're on, the amount of skill you have. And I'm like just sitting in the intro truck, and this kid's probably like, this is the old, like this weird old dude just won't shut up. And he was just like, I'm really stressed, really excited for the off season. It's been a lot of pressure. I'm like, there's no pressure on me today. Like I don't think as long as I just don't crash you, I'm fine. Um, and we're like, I just don't mess up the championship, don't wreck the car. I can only screw up today. Nothing good can really happen. And I'm like, he's like, yeah, it's just insane. Like he was really well spoken.
Mm-hmm.
I was blown away at how professional he is and the people he's friends with, like Brad, um, are just good people. So like, I don't really have a lot of advice for him. Just keep being him. Like lean into that nap stuff like he is, and just don't conform to the everybody else. Like I like that he takes accountability because nobody does that anymore. But um, I don't know a lot of those kids, and I assume that they're not all as mature and like actually normal as Connor was because
No,
he
that's what.
didn't like
Yeah.
get me marked by NASCAR for security or something. So
No,
yeah,
and I've noticed that too. Like, in that moment when I know he got into one or two cars and everything, like literally one of the first things he said getting out of the car was he didn't drive good. And he even said, I'm not proud of myself. Like he made a move or two. Apparently he texted the drivers already apologizing before he even really got to celebrating for the win, which is kind of unheard of today. I never
yeah,
hear about that. Like the guy who went five wide turn one on Sunday literally said no comment after the race. But the 18-year-old who got into maybe two guys or so, has a beaten up car after winning this race, apologized before he even got to celebrating his second career Xfinity win. But to me, like, probably the biggest one because of the adversity and the cars he was facing. It was definitely not an easy road for him. But
yeah, it's insane.
yeah, and I think that's why we need to appreciate him as much as possible, because for an 18-year-old to be that mature already, to understand that he still has stuff to work on and everything, the dude's like, I think he's the next guy. Like
I
he
told him that as weird as it sounds, I'm like, you're the next one, dude. Like I
you
like the
yeah,
people
he
that looked
is.
at Tony Stewart, Kyle Larson, Connor Zilisch. And I mean, he's probably just like, please shut up, guy. But yeah.
No, but it's a compliment though, because I
Mhm.
mean, look what he's doing. Look how he wheels that thing. First cup
That's
start.
insane.
First cup start. I mean, he got bad luck. I mean, his teammates spun. He had a lot of smoke. The spotter can only do as much as he possibly can. And he
Yeah.
went from the back and got up to like what, 14th, 15th? I mean, he was posting like top 5 lap times in his
Yeah.
first cup start.
And I've become a NASCAR fan, unfortunately, over the last few years, and I listen to podcasts and stuff. I mean, that's how we got to talking, obviously, is I
Yeah.
just actually like listen to content. And he was like, man, you know, he really sucked in practice. I was like, I think he was top 15. Like he said that on one of the, Dirty Mo Media podcasts. I was like, man, if I were top 15 in anything, I'd be stoked.
Dude, I'd crack open a Four Loco and probably have some fun that night. That's what I'm
There you go.
saying.
Yeah.
Top 15. Fun note though, I did mention Four Loco there, dude. You have an awesome partnership coming up. You and Four Loco are partnering up. I correct me. I believe it is the Bristol race coming up.
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, I
We're
saw the paint scheme,
fourth year
dude.
together.
I saw the paint scheme, dude. Hot as hell. It is a sexy paint scheme. I know diecast pre-orders are up, so if you are interested in a Four Loco diecast, go to Lionel
Nice.
Racing, go check it out, go get that car made, because it's not only him that's part of the deal, it's also one of our favorite iRacing streamers and content creators, Mr. Moonhead, aka Travis Brown. Ryan, you've worked with him before, and we talked about before we started the show about Moonhead. That dude's funny as hell. he
Yep.
he is an overall just he is the package when it comes to just the content I think the sport needs. Um, Tell me a little bit because I know it was kind of like one of those partnerships. I don't think anybody was expecting that, right? Because you and
I don't
Travis
think he
getting the
was
dinner.
either. Yeah.
No, yeah, I like. But tell me a little about it, man, because I mean that's a huge deal for someone like Travis who literally just came from the internet side, right? You're in the driver's seat, so having deals like this sometimes kind of come about and you take advantage of it. But for someone like him to get involved in it, how did he get involved in it, and how did you guys capitalize on Four Loco, and what can we expect from you guys for the Bristol race when it comes to that paint scheme?
Yeah, I think it was 2022, first year with Alpha Prime. We got the Loco sponsorship. Shout out Sarah Handy, my amazing marketing director there. Because if I could actually have like picked my sponsors in college, Four Loco would probably be top three.
Hell yeah,
And
brother! Hell yeah,
dude, it
brother!
would have. It was probably the first drink I ever had. So I was not a beer guy. I was like, well, let's try this, and it tore me up pretty good. So, um, I don't know how I came across Moon. I think I literally just saw people posting about Moon Car around that time, and I was like, well, let me just reach out to this guy and see if he'd be interested in doing a video. He might have done one for Parker Kligerman, I think. Now that I think about it,
Yeah, I think he did one of his e-racer videos or something like that. You know, he started with the
yeah,
moon car and then he did some stuff. I think he did something with Dale Jr. too. Correct me
yeah.
if I'm wrong. I think he did something for one of his races, but he's done everything with iRacing at this point.
God, yeah. Um, so I just shot a message after seeing that video. I was like, I feel like he'd be the perfect fit for this. Would you be
Mm,
interested? He did. I'm pretty sure. I don't even know if he got like his expenses paid the first year, and I feel really bad because I didn't have anything to give him either. We have paid him since. I don't know if it was enough, but yeah, he's done 4 years of stupid videos with us. I think last year we shotgunned or stone cold straight into our. I did it in my eyes accidentally. He did it into his mouth normally.
that's the way to do it
Um,
though.
Dude, I injected it into my eyeballs accidentally. It sucked. Yeah, we just had a lot of fun with it, and they're like the coolest people in the world. They give us zero script. I think this year Travis just sent us the video at maybe midnight, after midnight, and we
Mhm.
posted it 12 hours later. Like they just said, "Hey, could you put captions on it?" And that's it. So it's cool, and he's that tied into a brand, and I think he'll be out there. I think we'll have some influencers from the Barstool side, because they have
Awesome.
a partnership through the parent company um, of Four Loko. So it'll be a lot of content, and I just try not to get in trouble.
I do you all right. I this show is it's off limits, right? You can talk about whatever you want to an extent. Do whatever you want. Do you have any Four Loco stories? You got a fun Four Loco story? I got one for you that
Yeah,
I
I'll let
have an
you.
experience. All right, okay, all right. So Four Loco, right? So I'm not the biggest drinker, right? I'm not the biggest drinker. I'll have a beer
That's
here
how
and
it usually
there.
starts. Yeah.
That's yeah, no, I'm trying to keep it like that though. That's the thing. But back when I was 21, FYI. Okay, so I was 21. Just for the record for everyone watching this. So, I got back home and some of my buddies from high school who were all in that same age group as well. One of them went to Georgia Tech. And this was during a time when I was just trying to still grow up. Like I was just trying to, feel some things out, like see what I liked in life. And I go to Georgia Tech, and they want to drink and have like a guys' night and everything. And I'd never been to Georgia Tech either, so I just wanted to see the campus and all that stuff. Uh, Key advice: don't ever drink Four Loko and wander a college campus that you've never
Oh
seen.
my God, yeah.
so,
We'll
um,
never get home.
so I had like a drink or two, and I felt fine. And my buddy was like, like, hey, bro, you should try this, man. And like, I saw the can; it said Four Loko, and dude, I thought it was just like a soda with like a little bit of alcohol in it or something like that,
No.
right? So I drink that shit. I finish it, and I turn that thing around, and I look at the alcohol percentage in it, and I was like,
Like 5.5 beers.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, okay, so we'll see how I am about this one. So that night was actually the the most turnt I've been. I was turnt that night. I remember most of it, but I remember walking around campus for like 2, 3 hours. We even went through downtown Atlanta. I don't know how I did not get robbed. I don't know how I ended up back on campus that night. Um, the one thing I didn't remember, and I woke up the next morning. I reach in my pocket and I pull out a receipt from Cookout for $35, $40.
Oh, that's a
no,
lot of
no,
cookout.
no, $35, $40. And apparently in the mini fridge there was like 5 or 6 combos of food not even touched. For some reason, I bought like 6, 7, 8 combos of food from Cookout in downtown Atlanta near
You
Georgia
didn't
Tech.
eat any?
I ate like one, and I went back, and I had all this Cookout, and I got home. My mom is like, like, what the is all this Cookout for? So like, and I was just like, I was trying to hide it
That's
because like she didn't really know that I was like drinking at the time. So I was just like, oh, I was just really hungry, and I never really get it that much, so I just thought I have some leftovers. And to this day, she doesn't know why I had all that Cookout, but it was definitely inspired by some Four Loco.
yeah,
So
that's
great
that's a
product,
pretty tame
great
one.
product.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it gets the job done. That's what I tell people. It's perfect for NASCAR. Like you can
yeah,
go to 7-Eleven, get two for
yeah.
like 6, 7 bucks, and you're probably not going to remember anything at that point. I
Seven
think
do-
I
seven
stopped
seven
streaming
dollars for
because
a
of it.
$7 for a memory eraser. By the way, that's
Yeah,
that's
it's like
that's that's
case of
dangerous.
beer. No, I stopped streaming because of Four Loco. Like we got this partnership, and I was like, all right, we're gonna have Heartbeat Hot Sauce, we're gonna have Four Loco, whatever other sponsors I had that were tangible project products at that time. Uh, I remember just I don't think I was that drunk, but I remember like doing a cartwheel on street. Somebody was like, "But you can't do a cartwheel." It's probably Moon or somebody. And then my wife just heard me fall upstairs, and she was like, "You should probably stop." And just like I shut the stream off, deleted the stream, and I was like, "I'm done. I can't stream at all anymore." So that was literally the last time I like streamed Call of Duty, played video games in that manner. Now I just play offline for fun
So
with
I
my
can't.
friends.
So you're telling me I cannot witness the Ryan Ellis cartwheel? It's not a thing.
I hope not. I'm gonna go on here and check before
Okay.
this airs.
I might need to beat you to the punch because I need to see if there's a Ryan Ellis cartwheel. I don't know if someone
I
has a
can do
clip of
it.
it.
I know I could. I'm like, I wasn't that bad. But
No,
yeah, no,
no,
I
no
have way
joke.
worse Four Loco stories. But yeah, that's probably the most tame. I'm pretty sure I threw a machete through our house once at college.
Are you serious?
Because they came off the handle. So people
Yeah,
were
but you threw.
throwing
But
like
yeah, but you
beers at
threw.
me.
You threw a machete. You used a machete though.
Or a samurai sword. It was like a katana or whatever they call it, and they were throwing it. And I was
That's still
slicing it
that's
up in the
still
air.
badass though, man. I mean, a
Yeah,
samurai
we
sword
just
and
left a Renaissance festival, and it was cheap, so it broke off and went straight through the side of the house. And I was like, all right, that's game over.
okay, but no Four Locos in your system right now. Can we see a cartwheel on
Thank
camera?
God. Dude, I would get in trouble for waking up the newborn.
That's
Otherwise, I
fair.
would.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Maybe one day we'll bring you back and we can see the Ryan Ellis cartwheel on camera.
Yes.
Um,
At a
okay.
track near you.
At a track. Yeah, you know what? You know what? Next next time I go to a track and if I'm able to butt in,
Bristol
okay. Hey, Bristol, I want to see a Ryan Ellis cartwheel. Okay, we'll
with
see.
Moon. Yep. We'll
With
do it.
Moon, I gotta see this. I might just have to try to make the trip up there. It's like a 4 hour drive for me. I might have to
Not
just
bad.
make the trip up to see it and see
Yeah,
this
it's not
happen.
bad.
No, it's not bad. So that's your Four Loco story. The samurai sword.
That's what I'm gonna go with. Yeah. There's
There's
probably
probably
way
there's
worse.
probably more that we don't want to talk about on camera.
Yeah. Ironically, it was started, I believe, from like my fraternity, not like my chapter, but Kappa Sigma, creating a party punch And
Mm.
that's how like the first one was formulated. So I'm sure if I would ask my fraternity brothers, they'd probably have a better story of
Where'd
me.
you go to college?
George Mason University,
Okay, is that in?
so
That's not in North Carolina or anything, is it?
Northern Virginia, like right outside of DC.
All right, all right, all
Um,
right. I went to
but yeah,
Alabama.
again, that's not why I got the partnership. I told the owner, I was like, "Hey, I'm a Kappa Sigma too," and he was like, "Oh, okay." Like I don't, there was no coordinated thing there. It just happened to be really ironic.
Okay, yeah, I went to Alabama, so
A
that
real
was.
school.
I had a scholarship. I did drumline, so I went there and did some music for a little bit. But yeah, it was more there that I discovered my drinking side for a little bit, my party side, if you want to call it that. It's been put away. It hasn't come out. It hasn't been out in a few years. I'm
And
not ashamed of it. So
I'm a bad person when I drink, so I just stay away.
but while Four Locos on the car, but you're gonna have a great time. Uh,
Yes, I'll have a sip or two.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. That's great. I'm really excited for that partnership for you guys because like I see Four Loco on the car. It literally just takes me back to that night when I strolled through downtown Atlanta wearing nothing but a wrinkly polo shirt with a button unbuttoned, all wrinkled, food stains on it, khaki pants and Vans, walking around.
Yep.
And I actually remember one of my friends blasting, welcome to Atlanta where the players play. Like on repeat going through downtown Atlanta. And the more I think about walking back, I'm like, holy shit, how did we not get like cornered or something? Like
Yeah, you
this
have
this was like 1 in the morning too, dude. Like
yeah,
1:30 in the morning. Like, and I can't believe it. And I think when I woke up and realized what I did that night, I was like, yeah, this might not be for me. This might not
yeah.
be
No, you
the
got to stay
lifestyle for
away,
me.
man. That's a lot. No, I think that's why their new like marketing campaign is your Four Loco story because they know that so many people have that wild night with Four Loco, and that might be why they don't drink it anymore. But yeah, it's effective. Like I said, it gets the job done for very, very low cost.
Yeah. And we talked about COTA, we talked about Four Loco. We've had a great conversation so far. Once again, if you're listening to the All Clear podcast, we have Ryan Ellis here, having a really fun conversation here. Ryan, I noticed the back of you, man. You got a really cool sim, actually two. Yeah, like what, two sim rigs there? You got
Just the
the
one. This is my COD rig, as I call it. I just hop on play Call of Duty. That
you
one
have
gets
a
used a lot. That one gets used a couple times a year.
you have a COD rig. I've never heard of a COD
Not
rig
actually.
before.
Just
Okay.
it's like what I got for when I was streaming. Like I needed
Mm-hmm.
something capable of that. And yeah, now it's just play Call of Duty on it.
Okay. Well, you're obviously a gamer, right? And I figured this would be a really fun conversation to have with you about gaming in the NASCAR world. We talked about NASCAR Heat a little bit. Obviously, very big title coming out later this year. NASCAR 25 being developed by iRacing. Dale Jr. is at the helm of it. A lot of the names that worked on some of the classic games from
There's
Papyrus
the Daytona.
are Dirt to Daytona. I mean, dude, the what was the mortar ball throw?
Mhm.
Dude, my all-time favorite cheat code of all time. I mean, in that game, that was
I never even knew
incredible.
about that.
You never knew about that?
No.
What, dude? Go after this. If you play Dirt to Daytona, if you can tonight, look up the horn. I think it's the horn mortar ball cheat, and when you put it in, you go up on the D-pad, and it shoots like a cannonball ahead of the
Wow.
field. It lands and just
I'm looking at it.
explodes the entire field of cars and makes like the
Holy
big one.
crap.
Yeah, it's insane. I can't believe you never heard of that.
I didn't know. Yeah, I had not heard of this. Like to me, like I played so many NASCAR games, but I got so sidetracked by like the era of Midnight Club and Smuggler's Run, which I don't know if anybody knows those games. It
No,
was just
no,
like,
that's respect, respect. Those are some good games though. Those are
yeah,
good.
they were like my racing driving games or Need for Speed, like back when that was
Burnout,
cool.
Burnout 3, all that stuff.
Um,
Just throwing a car into the fence and watching it just explode and everything like that.
yes, I just wanted to turn around and crash everybody. It was just I could
I
make a
s-
Chris Red experience joke, but I'll leave that for Josh.
oh, I love it. I love it, man. Yeah, dude, check that out, man. There's a lot of cheat codes with Dirt to Daytona and
I had
everything.
no idea. I don't even own it anymore. I have to find it.
Oh, you gotta find it, bro. It's fun. There's like a cheat code where you can make a random pit crew member as tall as like the Green Giant, and it's like on
That's
top
what
of
I'm seeing here. That's what I keep seeing. I'm like, I have no idea what the screenshots are.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's loads of cheat codes, man. I think that's what made that game. That was part of that game that made it so nostalgic. Like those games back then, right? So much color, so much texture, so much content, paint schemes. It never made the player feel like you can go a day without finding something new, right? And
Yeah.
and with a new game coming out, right? I feel like the last few NASCAR games, we've been missing that. We've been missing that will to turn it on and discover something new, right? Someone to keep you playing. I know we talked about the Pro League. Obviously, I had a reason to play those games for a couple years because, you know, I had the opportunity to be a virtual race car driver. And, but other than that, there was really nothing else that came with those games. And we had Ignition come out. I don't want to talk about Ignition. I don't want.
Yeah, I didn't play it. Yeah.
I played it. I had about 700 something people watching me the first night that game came out, and it flopped. And I trusted them. That's a whole story for another day. I went down that rabbit hole. I regret it so much. Yeah, but going to NASCAR 25, right? We have iRacing developing it. Tell me how you feel about it. Are you excited for this game coming out? And is there anything that you're hoping is in the game, or what are some things that
Me,
Ryan Ellis is looking for when it comes to the NASCAR game of the year? What are you looking for?
I have a dumb analogy here, but I think I don't know, it's just the way I think of video games. Like it needs to have, like you said, a reason to play it. It needs to feel like you're actually making progress in it and being good at
Mm,
it matters. Those are like half of why like I Call of Duty. It's like the second like they start doing skill-based matchmaking and stuff like that, drives me insane. Without a ranking system. But
mm-hmm.
I think iRacing's I can't imagine iRacing do a bad job of this because they have everything. They have all the tracks. They have the cars perfectly scanned.
They have what they need to make it work.
Exactly. It'd be
Yeah.
harder to screw it up than it would be to make it good. It needs to be a blend of realism and a video game because if it was too
Mm-hmm.
real, then it would be really boring. To be
We
honest,
don't
like
we don't need a straight up iRacing clone. We
yeah,
don't.
exactly.
Yeah.
But like the career mode, I noticed that they were like, "Are you gonna do autographs? Are you gonna go here? If you do this, you're gonna lose." I'm like, "Ah, you can." I'm sure they're gonna do a good job with it. I'm like, just don't make it where it's too not racing oriented
Mm-hmm.
to make sure it's founded around gameplay. But man, I've been playing Drafty Car like on our flights. I'm like
Yo, dude, that
that
game's
feels better
great.
than yeah. Like they did a good job because it's just fun. It's progressive and it has enough of the business side that it's not like it has the perfect mix of everything. It feels somewhat real, as stupid as that sounds. It takes some skill and it's just fun. Like racing needs to be a mix of those, and right, like you're usually missing one. And it feels more real than half the NASCAR games we've gotten recently. I said that
That's
in
what I'm
Atlanta.
saying. That's what I'm saying, bro. Because I played it for the first time, and I'm like, this is great. This
Yeah,
is fun. Like you can just pop your phone out, and you won't get bored of it. Like you have
yeah,
to look at your screen and actually be good at it, follow the patterns and everything, understand where the cars are going. And now I think there's actually like real teams starting to join on it too.
yep.
Um,
I know. I'm trying to get in there.
oh, let's go, dude. All right,
I'll
I
get the
like it.
Snapchat scheme in there, but I got to get it updated with the number and all that. I gotta message the guy. No, but like I guess another thing is it needs to be have content be able to be built around it, and it so
Mm,
probably needs to be online based. Like it needs to have a very very successful online platform because if it doesn't, it's so limited.
yeah, you don't want I don't want to just load up. I'm gonna call out ignition here. You don't want to just boot up online and pick. Do you want to race super speedways or a mile and a halfs? And
Yeah,
I remember booting that up. I'm like, what the hell is this? What happened? I can't even host a race. Like what's going on here? So,
yeah,
that's huge, man. You hit it right on the mark. We definitely need content that keeps the game alive and relevant, right? I think even bringing back the Thunder challenges, the Lightning challenges from Thunder,
those were so much
I
fun.
know, dude, right? I want come on, dude.
Yeah, you
Show
have a
me a
way better answer. Yeah,
well, show me a clip of the perfect example, bro. Show me a clip of Ryan Blaney talking to me, telling me I was chasing my teammate down to go back to back championships. You know, I'm gonna put you in the 12 car, get this shit done. Like, not to that extent.
Brad.
Ryan Blaney's not gonna say that on a video game, but I'm just saying
Yeah,
though, like those are the kind of things, man, that keeps someone drawn in. And when I win the
mhm,
challenge, give me something as an award. Give me
yeah,
a paint scheme. Give me a throwback car that Blaney ran from like I don't know
that would be
three
so
years
cool.
ago that I'll
Yeah,
never
they need
see.
to consult with you because you have like the best ideas. I mean, it needs to be like also recent too. So if something happens 2 weeks ago, they're like, "Hey, we just dropped this challenge in there."
That'd be great. I would love a like weekly or bi-weekly update with like maybe
Yeah.
3 to 5 new challenges, right? Based
Yep.
off of recent events. And if all the series are in there, you shouldn't have a problem with that. You got trucks, you got Xfinity, you got Cup, you got even Arca in there too. I know the Arca challenge every week is gonna be like, I'm gonna
Don't
put you in this
die.
car. Just avoid the wrecks.
Don't
Avoid
get tetanus. Yeah, like it's
oh
just
my
going to be different each week. Brad Perez, he has too much of a personality. At
oh
Alpha
that's
Farm,
right,
he is
your
all,
son. That's right. Yeah, that's
we had to do those challenges. He was like, "All right, Ryan, we're going to divide the season in, 33 races. Me, you, Brennan, and whoever are going to do our own lightning challenges. We're going to make content out of it." I'm like, "Brad, how are we going to make challenges out of like me finishing 25th? Like, I avoided this one spin. Now you can finish 25th in my car." It's like it's not exciting. So I showed like zero enthusiasm, sucked at it, and then they still aired it somehow. So hopefully nobody digs that up. It was terrible.
I mean, it's better than mine. My lightning challenge would literally be like, I just woke up and had myself a nice bowl of cereal. Can you make sure you get all your tasks done by 12 before your lunch break to go get a healthy workout in?
Yeah,
That's
don't poop your pants. Have fun.
yeah. Don't shit your pants. Sponsored by Dude Wipes. I'm not sponsored by Dude Wipes. So that was just the perfect
Not
one.
yet.
That was the not yet, Dude Wipes. If you're listening, hey, we got an open spot on the podcast here. Would love to work with you. Um, But once again, we got Ryan Ellis on here with All Clear. It's been a fun conversation so far. We've been talking about NASCAR video games and everything, going from lightning challenges and just career mode and everything. I got faith in them, man. I have faith in iRacing for this one because
Yep.
I had a conversation with Brad about this, and I told him that listen, if the Pro League was ever brought back, right? If we got esports back on the console side, would I make a run at it again? I probably would because I feel like I had a lot left on the table right there. But it's
Yep.
got to be the right configuration of how it's done, right? I don't want road to pro. I don't want this stuff where the top 20 make it. Then you got to go fight the top 20 who didn't finish top 20 in the Coke points and then they all just save and share setups with each other and to where they all run the same pace. I just don't want to run where it's literally the field is running the same pace every single lap. There's no off tire. There's no
Or then just
tire fall.
randomly, yeah.
Yeah, like talking about online multiplayer, and I was kind of mentioning that with the whole esports thing. Um, do you think online multiplayer is probably the biggest factor for this game to be successful? Would you
I
what would you rather see as the biggest succession of this game, the online aspect or the offline aspect?
Me just basing it off of Call of Duty because anybody that knows me, like I probably have more time played than anybody that like I don't know. It's got to be
Mm-hmm.
in the top 1%. I look at it as needs to alwast excite you in a way that I guess you could create content around offline stuff too.
You
So I
can
didn't think of it that way.
career mode
Yeah,
stuff, and all those
it's like
things.
zombies or something for
Yeah.
Call of Duty. You can do that offline, but I think, man, that's a, I guess it could be either. Really, I don't
Mm-hmm.
really have a good answer for that because online, I think it's just you get more viral content probably out of online stuff just because wild ratchet stuff can happen.
Finishes,
But
wrecks, trolls, trying to ruin your
yeah,
day, etc. Yeah.
but I don't know. I haven't played a NASCAR game other than that like 5 minutes that I played myself 10 years ago, whatever it was, in like 20 years. So it's been a
On
long time.
NASCAR Heat Evolution, grab your copy today.
Yep, I don't even iRace, like I said. I hop on there and then there's professionals on there and I'm like, this is too much for me.
It's always a bad feeling when you load into a race and you tell yourself, I got a shot at this thing. I can win this. And all of a sudden, Coke driver enters the field and it's like, well, all right,
Doesn't
we're
happen in
fine.
my lobbies.
Oh, it happens to mine. It happens to mine.
I gotta find one.
I'm on the borderline of top split and second split is where I go.
I see. I don't even know what that means. Like I know when people talk about it, but like I haven't iRaced enough to even have that. My I rating is I'm not like out of rookie. I don't think with anything.
Yeah, but you drive an actual race car, so it's okay. You're fine.
Yeah, I use the dad excuse a lot. I think I'm like ever run like 8 official races ever. And that might be high. Like that might be a high number. I have no idea.
But like I said, you drive a real race car, so it's okay. You don't need your I rating to go up. You get to do it and be on TV and live the dream that millions of people wish they can do every single week.
It's
Basically,
fun
that's
most of the
fun.
time.
Avoiding wrecks. Not trying to get righted into the wall. All that stuff. Bringing some
I
solid
wanted to
top
burn that
20s.
down. Yeah. Yeah, I almost created a burner account last night just for fun, but yeah, I'd out myself accidentally. I'd tweet like a post-race thing from that account accidentally, so I
Dude,
can't
you're
do it.
bad, dude. You're the guy that wants to make burner accounts and everything. That's
Oh yeah, I can honestly say that it's just like I don't have the time, man. I got one 3.5-year-old and a 3-week-old, so it's like I don't have the time to be tweeting at people for
do
my own
you
account, let
do
alone
do you bring
theirs.
your family to the track and everything when you can?
I don't have the money for that. I don't have the money
Oh,
for
okay.
3 flights or an RV. I realized once you had a kid, like you need an RV, man. I'd
Oh yeah, for sure.
think my first kid, brought her to Michigan, and we just had my wife and daughter sitting in the rental van for 3 hours, like with the
Mm.
car on, just like they can't be on pit road, can't sit in the hauler, so it's a tough place to bring a kid.
Yeah, it's yeah. I always thought it's funny you mentioned that. I didn't think it was like that. I thought usually pretty much all the families were able to kind of like go and their expenses were paid for and everything. But I guess it's not
No,
like that.
my wife shows up, I'm either buying a hard card for 2,500 bucks or whatever it is, or
Hmm.
using one of our small allotment of pit passes that usually our sponsors use all of, which they pay a lot of money. So like there's a lot of races. I'm like, Mom, I don't know if you could come this week. Yeah, it sucks that we don't get like plus ones or anything like that because I have a lot of friends that just don't ever get to come out.
I know. That's crazy. I didn't know that, because usually I thought like, those things were paid for. But I know a lot of the higher up teams, obviously, it's like no issue, right? Because they
Yeah,
have a lot of money, a lot of stuff in there. But for teams like y'all, I always have respect for guys like you and teams like DGM and Alpha Prime because, they get their TV time and everything, but you never really see the fights that they have to go through a season, and
same. Yeah,
Brad showed me it last week in the shop. Those guys were working till 11 o'clock, almost midnight, working
yeah,
on that car, and just for him to not make the show. I mean,
yeah,
I can't even imagine the frustrations amongst that. Meanwhile, teams that are way higher up, they never have to worry about that stuff. It's like they close and they're done at like 5, 6 o'clock and they go home and see their families. Meanwhile, there's guys in the shop and these other teams like, for example, DGM, if you had that unfortunate incident where you had to be there till 11 o'clock at night or 12, being someone who drives for a team like DGM, what adversities do you face, as a driver with a team like DGM who may not have all the resources like a team like JGR or JRM? What are some of those adversities that you go through every week as a driver and as a team?
mine's a lot more white collar than like the guys that work on our car.
Hmm.
Because I mean, DGM specifically, half the teams works out of North Carolina, the other half works out of Florida.
Oh wow, I didn't know
So
that.
yeah, I didn't either. About 8 months ago, when I started talking to them, it's really weird, just because I don't go to the shop because the
Mm.
shop's in Florida and I'm here in Charlotte. It's actually nice because having a family, obviously, it's hard to get out of the house to begin with. But I know our guys, like they'll be there till 9:30 at night, a lot of nights. I saw the Alpha Prime guys, like my old crew, they were there till 9:30 probably last night, and they for like 34 days straight or something. And when you wreck, it it goes and like you're like, oh cool, I just cost my crew guy his one day off and now he can't see his daughter this weekend. Assuming they have kids or family, it's like
Wow.
you know that you're actually affecting their life and you're also affecting the likelihood of them having a job. Like when Tommy missed the race last week, I was like, I really hope nobody gets cut from this because they're gonna have to make budget cuts. They had 2 cars miss the race. That's, I don't know, 30, 40 grand in
Wow. I
budget
didn't I, I
purse
didn't
they're not
I
gonna
didn't
get.
know it went that deep. I didn't know it went
Yeah.
deep to where people lose their jobs with stuff like that.
You just never know because I mean that's a lot. I mean, that's a lot of their budget. Is
Hmm.
obviously just people and traveling them there, and then you wonder about like the 45 car if whoever's driving it may all of a sudden he might lose a sponsor because they're not locked in by points. So it has a snowball effect. I mean, I look at it from the human aspect of like I know these guys get one day at home a week, and the last thing I want for them to do is be like sitting there. They lose their ability to see their daughter's soccer game, and that's because I destroyed a car in the last lap, or somebody loses a job, or maybe we have a mechanical failure. Like that's the way I look at it. Is like maybe if I wreck a car this week, our guys are trying to throw a car together that wasn't ready for next week, and then we have a mechanical failure, and it just continues to get worse and worse. So I don't want to put our team behind by having that damage because it might by me giving up 15th last weekend and not moving Josh Williams, assuming he might kill me the next corner, and just taking a 16th and going home with a car in one piece, I know that our guys are able to get a little bit further ahead for Phoenix, Vegas, and whatever's after that.
That's awesome, dude. Like, I didn't know it was that deep, especially when when you put in that aspect of like, hey, that that guy at the shop may not see like his daughter's birthday party because somebody decided to right hook you or something.
Yeah.
It just
Or it could affect our travel budget. As stupid as that sounds, that happened last year. It's like we had to save some money here, and people were quitting and going to different teams because we were tight on money. And
mm,
maybe that was because of crash damage. Yeah, like you never know.
yeah, that's insane, man. I mean, that also just gives me more respect for y'all because that when you put it into my eyes and a bunch of viewers' eyes, that it just opens up a lot of different ways your brain thinks about the sport, right? Because when you watch NASCAR, you just think of Hendrick, JGR,
They all look
2311,
the same. Yeah.
big teams. They all look the same, man. But when you see these guys back here fighting for 16th, 23rd, 24th, and man, you see nothing but smiles on their faces when they finish like 17th with a clean car, and you wonder like, oh, they got 17th. What's the big deal? But like you mentioned it right there. I mean, everyone got to go home, clean car. A solid payday for the race team with a finish like that. It
The
makes a
difference in pay
team's
is like
week.
$100 a position sometimes. So like, I mean, I'm not. I know it's literally like $100 sometimes. So say you finish 15th versus 25th, thousand more dollars, but maybe you destroyed the car and it has 15, $20,000 worth of damage.
It just comes
Like,
right at yeah.
yeah, a team owner would much rather. I mean, it averages out. You need the points and all that, but like, it's all that math is in my head while I'm out there. I try to just shut it off. But yeah, and then from a business aspect, like obviously anybody that's not self-funded, like Brad, myself, Brendan Poole, Josh Bullock, we're just sitting here
Mm.
being email marketers, salespeople all day. Like I sit in front of this computer 40 hours a week and I'm on the road the other 2 days, and Sunday I just try not to think about anything. So it's a crazy lifestyle.
It's
It's not
crazy.
what the other guys have.
It's crazy indeed. Like, bro, if I had the money, I would put the all clear logo on your race car and help you guys out as much as
I'd be a bad
possible.
spokesperson. Yeah, put it on your own
No,
car.
you'd be fine. All you gotta say is follow this podcast and give it a shot. That's the slogan. Give it a
We
shot.
can do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Right? Ryan, we're getting near the end of the show. It's been awesome to have you, man. I mean, I've learned so much about you through our conversation. I've always seen that you're a real chill guy on social media, man. But I'm hearing like samurai swords and COD and everything, man. I'm
We're
I'm seeing
past Ryan. Yeah.
I'm seeing a side of Ryan Ellis I never thought I would see, man. That's the beauty of having these shows, man. But like I said, it has been so awesome getting to know you through our conversation today,
Me
and
too.
hopefully get to see you at the racetrack, man. I try to go as much as I possibly can. I'm definitely trying to go to Talladega. In a little while, I would love to even go up to Bristol and see this Four Loco car in action, man. I gotta see this.
It's
I
really cool.
I,
Yeah.
I
I'll
got.
hook you up with those guys. They'll give you a couple cases just to get you into trouble.
Oh my god. Oh, you know what? Send it my way. I'm gonna freak out my wife.
Yeah.
That's.
Right.
I'll just freak out my wife and make her lose her marbles for like 30 minutes to an hour. But Ryan, before we end the show, do you mind telling the awesome people viewing this where they can find you on social media?
Yeah. I think I'm just at Ryan Ellis Racing on all the platforms that I'm aware of: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, not TikTok, too old for that. And yeah, I got to thank Classic Collision, Tableau, Sweetwater Construction, um, Southern Elevator. Those are like my big four that do more than one race. There's a ton of other sponsors I got to thank, and just excited for the year. Really, really, really fun so far with DGM. Love the Alpha Prime guys. So never any bad feelings towards them.
Especially your son Brad Perez, right?
Oh yeah, and Brandon I still call my teammate too. So like I have a lot of friends over there.
That's awesome. Well, guys, you can catch Ryan Ellis in the 71 for DGM Racing during the 2025 season, but make sure to look out for the Four Loco machine this April at Bristol. We'll see if Ryan can bring home a solid finish and hopefully, fingers crossed, a clean car by the end of it, guys. But thank you so much for watching this episode of All Clear. He's Ryan Ellis. I am Joey Stone, and we will see you guys next time. Thank you so much.